What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Maydaysan Talks. And today we are going to go back to roots and talk about a game for once, because we haven't done a gaming talk in so long because there wasn't really anything to talk about. But what we got here, guys, is the alpha test, open alpha for the new Modern Warfare. If you guys don't know, it is free to play right now this weekend from the 23rd to the 25th. So for us in Japan, from right now till Monday. And for the new Call of Duty game. If you're a fan of Call of Duty, I highly recommend you get on that and try it. It's only for the PS4 though, so if you don't have a PS4, you're out of luck. So I want to give my first impressions of the game. I've seen all the footage and I've been playing Call of Duty for a while, so I'm already going in with a good impression from what I've already seen. But now we finally have a hands-on for this game, so we're going to go ahead and give this game my first impressions, what I think about it. So first I want to talk about the good about this game. So the good thing that I noticed is the loading times. The loading times are very, very fast, which is surprising for a regular stock PS4, which is what I have. So compared to Black Ops 4, it is significantly faster. And I can only imagine it being even more faster on PC, but I'm probably not going to be getting it on PC anyway. Just to let you guys know, this game will have crossplay between PC, Xbox, and PS4 in the beta as well as the full game, but it is not available for the alpha. So if you were thinking about getting it on PC or Xbox, PS4, we could all play together, but PS4 has the exclusivity. So aside from the loading times, number two is the graphics. The graphics are probably the best graphics I've seen in any Call of Duty game. They look like Battlefield graphics. It looks smooth, it runs smooth, solid 60 FPS. And except for the one map Pine, but apparently it's been addressed and they're working on it at Infinity Ward. The sound design in this game is very good. The guns sound like I'm actually in a room. If I were to shoot a gun in a crate, it sounds like I can hear the reverberation in the crate, the bullet shells. Each gun has its own kind of distinct sound. Nothing sounds the same. Like in Black Ops 3, for example, every gun sounded like a stapler. Every gun has their own unique sound. You can feel the oomph of all the bullets and all the sounds of the hit markers and everything. It's really good. But we'll get into the bad of why I don't like the sound design after. Now, the gunplay. The gunplay, which is important for any game, is it feels different, but it feels good. It's not arcadey, but it is a little bit arcadey, but it's more, if you've ever played Battlefield, it kind of feels like Battlefield. It's not like a straight gun down the middle and it's just like a very predictable kind of recoil thing. There really is a lot of animation and movement. Like if you're running and you're jumping, like you'll feel that gun drag around. So there's a lot of realism to it. Every gun's recoil is different, so you really have to manage it. I'm sure when the gunsmith comes out, we'll be able to mod our guns. But in this game mode on the 2v2, everything's just randomized, so you just kind of get what you get. So it's kind of hard to get used to because you don't have the same gun you can just keep practicing with. You'll be using different guns, so you got to play a lot in order to get used to the gunplay. ADS times are really slow compared to Black Ops 4 and previous CODs, especially when you're running out, but we'll get into that after. Another good thing about this game is that it feels super polished. Just everything, the optimization, like everything feels super polished for an alpha. Way better than Black Ops 4, so that's a really good thing as well. And this game mode, 2v2, which is the only one available for this alpha, it is probably the sweatiest and most intense game mode I've played in any Call of Duty, more than Search and Destroy. If you ever played a Battle Royale game, it feels like you're in the last circle of a Battle Royale every time. So no respawns, small arena, no mini-map. You just kind of gotta use your instincts, try and look, and really just listen for your enemies and just be a little bit tactical, which I like. The game, you have to play tactical to play this game. Which brings us to the bad, or something I don't like that much, is that you have to play tactical in this game. Especially if you're coming from Black Ops 4, where you're like running around, jumping, sliding, and going nuts, like you can't do that in this game. Like you can't. If the sprint out times in this game, when you're sprinting and you get caught sprinting, the ADS time is super punishing and you are most likely dead, especially if you're ADSing, which makes hip firing more viable, but it is very, very punishing if you get caught running. So especially if you're doing the double run where you have the gun up, the ADS time is just super, super slow. So you're screwed if you get caught. You can't be running around. You have to be almost walking, a little bit of sprinting, just kind of pre-aiming and kind of listening for your enemies and being more tactical. The way I would kind of compare it is like you kind of have to play it like Rainbow Six Siege, not to the point where you're just peeking, like you're not peeking, but you can't just run around and sprint around and just kind of run and gun. You can, but if you're like super sweaty, but if you're not that good at that, like you're just gonna get destroyed, especially if you're not good at aiming. Which brings me to like peeking and stuff, like the mount mechanic in this game. So there's a mounting mechanic in this game, and basically if you mount your gun, you will have like no recoil and you'll be able to, you know, shoot down your enemies easier. More often than not, I found that this is actually not beneficial, and I didn't really feel the recoil difference unless I was using an LMG. And more often than not, I was exposed and I couldn't move. So more often than not, I'm just getting flanked. So maybe that's just in this mode. I don't think it's very viable in 2v2 except for specific situations. I think it's better for you to just learn the recoil of your guns and just play classically. I mean, in some situations, but even then, like if the enemy's moving around and they come around you out of your little kind of like your fulcrum, then you're screwed, which is, I don't think it's worth it to do mounting in this particular game mode. Going back to sound design, the footsteps in this game cannot be heard. They're so low. Like I literally have to turn up my headset to just hear what's going on because it's so low. And I really hope that they kind of bring that up, especially for a game without a mini-map, and especially a game as tactical as this. Like you need to hear those footsteps unless they're really trying to push for the visual aspect. One thing I just want to add about this game mode is that it is tactical and it can get a little bit campy, but they have added a mechanic where you have a flag in the middle and you can cap it if it takes too long, if there's no action going on. So you can win a lot of games doing that instead of, you know, just camping it out and waiting till the time runs out. So that's a good balancing on their part. Now, the last thing I want to say about this game mode that is bad and good, I guess, is playing solo or with randoms is not a fun experience. If you like get paired up against a duo, especially a Twitch streamer or YouTuber or whatever, like it is the most difficult thing to do. It is super sweaty. They're coordinating, you're not coordinating. They know where you are. They're talking to each other, which is also pretty cool because you can actually after every round there's like an open mic lobby so that you can talk to each other, which is you can talk mad smack. But playing this game against pre-mates and not with a friend is probably one of the most hard experiences I've had in a Call of Duty game. And for this game mode, I highly recommend you have a friend or somebody who has a mic. Even they could just help your teammate with the mic, like you need to, because it is just incredibly more at a disadvantage if you're not playing with a friend and you're playing against, you know, a pre-made duo. When it's randoms versus randoms, it's a lot easier and you can feel the difference. But this game is probably the most sweatiest thing I've ever been in my life. I can see the ocean coming out from this game mode. But that being said, it's fun, you know? It's one of those games you got to get used to. And once you get used to it and you get used to the pacing, like not running around and running and gunning like a classic Call of Duty, and you get used to it, you start to get better at it, and it feels way more satisfying when you get those kills. So it really reminds me of kind of like Siege and like the satisfaction you get. There's a lot of flow state when you're playing this game mode. So I think it's one of those things you got to get used to. This game is definitely different from any other Call of Duty I've played, and quite frankly, I enjoy it, but I also get frustrated with it. But it's something you can work towards to get better at and get used to, because once you get used to it, it's really fun. But anyway, guys, that is my first impressions on this game. Again, the open alpha for 2v2 is open this weekend. I highly recommend you guys just jump on and try it. And then, you know, hit me up if you guys want to play, you know, games together. And it's been a while since we did this. So if you guys like what you see, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We'll have some more podcasts about Japan and real talks about games and all that stuff coming up later this week. My name is Mason from Maydaysan Talks, and that has been that. All right, guys, see you later. Bye-bye.